Yes, sir.
Great.
Yes. Sir, we
So,
are the important stakeholders are here, climate change, and we are not raised our voices, raised our voices so far. That's why Dr. Arulraj sir is here. We have got a very good personality for as an ambassador for this climate change from IMA. Right, sir?
so with your kind permission, can I start the meeting, sir?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Very good evening, everyone. It is wonderful.
Venkatesh, 1 second.
Yes.
Can you find our under secretary, Dr. Karthik
Sir,
Prabhu?
he's joining. He's joining.
Okay.
Please sit down.
Okay.
So,
Okay, go ahead, Venkatesh.
thank you, sir. So, very good evening, everyone. It is wonderful to be here with all of you on the eve of World Environment Day, that is June 5th. I'm Dr. Venkatesh Karthikeyan, convener of Indian Medical Association Junior Doctors Network Tamil Nadu. We are glad to host this event on behalf of IMA Junior Doctors Network Tamil Nadu in collaboration with MSN Tamil Nadu under the aegis of IMA Tamil Nadu State Branch. IMA JDN has organized more than 100 webinars in the past few years on very important topics relevant to young doctors, like the Career Guidance series and the Research Methodology series, with quality national and international speakers. And we have touched several tens of thousands of young doctors across India through our webinars. We are also thankful for the great response you have given for this webinar, with around 400 registrations in a very short span of 24 hours. During the last month, that is in Chennai, we had our first of its kind Young Doctors Health Parliament, where our state president of IMA Tamil Nadu State Branch and the national chairman of IMA JDN, Dr. Abulasan sir, has shared his views that there is one topic that is not touched by doctors, that is the climate change. Under the visionary guidance of Dr. Abulasan sir, JDN is taking its small and first step towards the domain of climate change today. We have senior leaders and nationally reputed speakers with us today. And before introducing them, I would like to request our mentor, President of IMA TNSP and National Chairman of JDN, Dr. Abulasan sir, to please give us the welcome address.
Thank you, Dr. Venkatesh. Dr. Hariharan, our past national president, Dr. Arul Raj, and all the office bearers of IMA JDN and MSN.
Participants, please. Okay. Abulasan sir.
Sir, you are muted, sir. Abul sir, you are muted.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Venkatesh. Dr. Arul Raj, Dr. Hariharan, all the faculties, Dr. U. Venkatesh, Dr. Harsal Salve, and Dr. Harsal Ramesh, and office bearers of IMA JDN and MSN, office bearers of IMA Tamil Nadu State Branch. I am immensely happy to have started this very important initiative from IMA Tamil Nadu, particularly from the Young Doctors Desk. I think this will go a long way in addressing this very important subject from IMA platform. I feel this we are the one of the important stakeholders as far as environmental changes are concerned, be it pollution, water pollution, air pollution, heat stroke or floods, heavy rain. Now it is time for speaking about global warming. And this talk about global warming has not taken off as a people's movement till today in India. So people will ask climate change, kilo enna vilai. That means kilo how much? This kind of situation today. I think if a doctors enter into this subject, this will gain momentum, definitely. India is producing almost 11% of the world carbon emission. And we are one of the important signatory of the Paris Pact. And we will have to go a long way in cutting down the carbon emissions And there are several measures. We will have to do it very quickly, like limiting the deforestation and also increasing our green cover. As far as the increasing green cover is concerned, our IMA branches all across the country have been involved in tree plantation. Even today, early morning, I started the day with planting 150 trees in my place, and I saw there were reports the other branches also doing the same. So I think I think this particular meeting today happening today will be historic. It will go a long way in the annals of IMA as well as in the history of IMA JDN and MSN, and it will produce results down the line, maybe in a few years and also maybe in few decades. I also wish to create a movement called Young Doctors for Climate Change, so that we participate in all the activities like other NGOs are doing. Even more than that, we can do. We have the capacity and potential. So I thank Dr. Arul Prasad for accepting to be the leader for this movement from Tamil Nadu. And also I thank all the speakers today for accepting our invitation to speak today, and also thank Hariharan and Venkatesh for doing this work in a very short time. So as I said, it will be a big beginning. It should be a big, maybe a big movement with a small beginning. So this introduction, I thank you all once again for taking part in this historic meeting. Over to you, Dr. Venkatesh.
Thanks a lot, sir, for your constant guidance and leading us from front. JDN will contribute more towards the domain of climate change with your kind support and leadership, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to invite our Secretary of IMA Tamil Nadu State Branch, Dr. Karthik Prabhu, sir, for the Secretary's address. To Karthik Prabhu, sir. I hope Dr. Gauri Shankar, sir, has joined.
கௌரி சங்கர் சாருக்கு சிக்னல் சரியில்லைன்னாரு. கார்த்திக்
Okay,
பிரபு சார் ஜாயின் பண்ணாரு, திருப்பி இப்ப காணோம்.
Okay, sir. We'll
திருப்பி
come.
ஜாயின் பண்ணும்போது வில் கால் பேக்.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So, I would like to request our state JDN chairman, Dr. Hariharan, sir, to give his opening remarks.
Good evening, beloved Abul Hassan sir, the inspiration for a lot of young doctors. Our Professor Dr. Arul Raj sir, a doyen in this field of medicine and the lead in the climate change for IMA Tamil Nadu. Karthik Prabhu sir, Gauri Shankar sir, our MSN leader Annamalai sir, and Dr. Jamna Rani. Our own team of leaders, young leaders, Dr. Venkatesh, Dr. Nanjavardhan, Dr. Joel, and Somnath. It is a great pleasure to start this month with a program for climate change. And I think as responsible doctors, we have a very big responsibility in contributing to climate change. And I think we have great speakers who will advise us on what we can take as JDN and move forward. So expecting a lot of suggestions. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Venkatesh.
Thanks a lot, sir. We have a special guest with us today. Dr. Merlinda from World Medical Association Junior Doctors Network has joined with us today. I would request Dr. Merlinda to kindly share a few words with us. So Merlinda, please unmute yourself.
Hi, hello. Thank you, Dr. Venkatesh. Good evening, everyone. So it's still evening over there. So I'm good evening, Prof. Dr. Arul Raj. Lovely meeting you here again. Thank you for the invitation, Dr. Venkatesh. I'm honored to be here today. So I'm Merlinda, the Medical Education Director of JDN of World Medical Association. And I have the pleasure of being on the same exco as Dr. Venkatesh in newly appointed JDN Young Doctors Forum of CMA. So about climate change, I am not sure how it is there in India. I'm here to learn about how it is over there in India. As for me, I'm from Malaysia, and I believe you're all experiencing bouts of heat and flooding. And I would like to know more about what's happening in India today. Regarding climate change, over in JDN WMA, we have special groups for planetary health, special working groups, whereby if anyone is who is still JDN, if you're interested to join, kindly buzz me. You can get my email from Dr. Venkatesh. And I think that's all. Let's move on to the climate change webinar. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Melinda, for joining with us today. Without further ado, let us go into the first topic of the day, IMA and climate change.
Venkatesh,
For
1
this-
minute. Our secretary has joined. You can invite him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we have our Tamil Nadu State Branch Secretary, Dr. Karthik Prabhu, sir. I request sir to please share a few words with us.
Thank you, sir. Most respected President Dr. Abulhasan, sir, Arunraj, sir, and all leaders of JDN, MSN, and all the panel who will give a wonderful talk today. Our President has felt the need of environmental change and formed a committee called Environmental Committee because today the need of the hour is not only stress and mental health, but environmental changes influencing the patterns of diseases and the pattern and the treatment and everything is getting changed and influenced by the environmental changes. So we look forward to hear more from you. I think this is a very, very upcoming and need of the hour. And best wishes to you. And thank you all the panelists and best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Karthik Prabhu, sir, for joining with us today. So without further ado, let us get into the first topic of the day, IMA and climate change. For this, I would like to welcome one of the senior most international leaders, Dr. Arulraj Sundaram, sir. Though sir is from Thoothukudi, calling sir as an international leader is definitely not an exaggeration, as sir is the former president of the Commonwealth Medical Association, being the first Indian to get this honor. Also, sir is the former national president of the Indian Medical Association and is a senior physician with expertise in cardiology and intensive care. He is the apt person for this topic as Sir is the chairman of IMA Standing Committee for Climate Change. Sir works with a vision towards making a healthy India and has a rich experience of over 32 years. With this short introduction, I would like to welcome Dr. Arulraj, sir. Over to you, sir.
Good evening to all of you. Our worthy Tamil Nadu State President Abulhasan and who is the National Chair of MSN and Tamil Nadu Chair Dr. Hari and Venkatesh, Melinda and other leaders of MSN and JDN. I mean, my very warm greetings to you all on this World Environmental Day. You may all wonder what this environmental change is going to cost to us. When you see, when you listen to the information from all the four faculties, you will understand that climate and environmental changes are very important for our physical and mental health. Not only physical, but mental health also. And the climate is the one, the surrounding in which we are living, the temperature and it's the cleanliness, all these things come under that. And IMA is a very strong national body. As I used to say always, largest global healthcare NGO. It's about 4 lakh members and the 1800 branches. It has voice in World Medical Association, Commonwealth, and CIMAO, UN, and WHO. And the medical professionals and public are the two eyes of Indian Medical Association. And health of the nation is its primary agenda, and guiding the Ministry of Health and Government of India on health issues, and guiding its members and citizens of India on health agendas. Now, under this last category, now we will see what is, climate change, what is its effect on health, and what we should do, what IMA's role also, we'll see that. And climate change refers to a long-term shifts in the temperature and weather patterns. This can be natural due to sun or largely due to some eruptions or human, activities. Since in 1800, human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to the burning of the fossil fuels like coal, oil, gas. And they get into they started emitting a lot of carbon dioxide and create a lot of heat and leading on to a high temperature. The main greenhouse gases that are causing climate change include carbon dioxide and methane. They come from the gasoline for driving a car or coal for heating a building, for example. Clearing land and cutting down forests can also release carbon dioxide, because all these greeneries absorb the carbon dioxide and release the oxygen. Now, when you remove them in a large number for so many other infra facilities, that causes a climate change and a warming. Agriculture, oil and gas operations are major sources of methane. And this energy, industry, transport, buildings, agriculture and land use are among the main sectors causing greenhouse gases. Understanding climate changes, average surface air temperature has increased by 1.8 Fahrenheit over the last century. Greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide trap heat, and carbon dioxide is produced when oil and gas is burnt. And the carbon dioxide levels are going up. Climate change will have dramatic effect on human health. This is what the climate change is going to cause. Very severe weather, air pollution, that leads to a lot of health challenges. The carbon dioxide, climate change, greenhouse change, health equity, and ozone and particulate matter and vectors and waterborne diseases are the issues going to be caused. And when the organism like fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes that can transmit the disease, that they keep on increasing in climate change. Diseases transmitted by water that contain germs and chemicals give a lot of communicable diseases. These are the issues caused by climate change. What causes this climate change? See, it can come automatically. Climate changes from winter to summer. And now we have a global warming, as said by our president, Dr. Abul Hassan. And what causes it? There are a few factors I'll quickly highlight. Number one is generating power. Generating electricity and heat by burning fuels cause large chunk of global emissions. Most electricity is still generated by burning coal, oil, and gas. Globally, a bit more than a quarter of electricity comes from wind, solar, and other renewable energies. And gases, being utilized for electricity is still common than solar and other renewable sources. Secondly, manufacturing goods. The manufacturing industry causes a lot of emissions, and minings and machines used often to run on coal or oil and gas, a lot of heat and carbon dioxide is coming up. Thirdly, cutting down forests. As we said, cutting down forests to create farms and pastures and other things. 12 million hectares of forests are destroyed every year. Deforestation, together with agriculture and other land usages, is responsible for roughly a quarter of global greenhouse gas emissions. And using then is a transportation. We are now, the data in India says almost every citizen has a motor vehicle. Yeah, most of the cars, trucks, ships, and planes run on fossil fuels. The air transport has increased very much. The transport accounts for nearly 1/4 of global energy related carbon dioxide emission. Transport, see, moving is very, very common, and air transport has increased. And the producing food causes emissions. There are a lot of junk foods and ready-made foods that are being manufactured that is causing a lot of emissions of carbon dioxide and methane. Food production is a major contributor for climate change, ladies and gentlemen. Powering building. the built environment for constructions for residential and commercial buildings consume over half of all the electricity, and it produces a lot of pollution and then methane and carbon dioxide. Consuming too much of power, in and around you, and that causes a lot of contribution to the climate change. These are the few factors which causes a climate change. What are the effects of this climate change? That is very hot temperature we get. Even now we have about little earlier we had even about 109, 121 degree Fahrenheit was there. The last decade is the warmest on record. Since 1918, every decade had been a warmer than previous one, and wildfires are becoming more common. Secondly, more severe storms. Destructive storms have become more intense and more frequent. Every time you get our government gives a name for every, year, there's a cyclone, hurricanes or typhoons are becoming more common, and there increased drought. Climate change is changing water availability and making it scarcer in many regions, and droughts and deserts are expanding now. And warming causes a rising ocean. The ocean soaks up most of the heat from global warming. As the ocean warms, its volume increases since water expands. But more carbon dioxide makes the ocean more acidic, which endangers marine life and coral reefs. And the loss of species. Many species are not able to tolerate the climate change, and their existence is coming to an end. 1 million species are at risk of becoming extinct within the next few decades. Forest fires, extreme weather, invasive pests, and diseases are among the many threats related to the climate change. And the sixth one is not enough food. Global rise in hunger and poor nutrition. Fisheries, crops, and livestock may be destroyed or become less productive. Heat stress can diminish water and grasslands for grazing, causing decline in crop yields and affecting livestock. Ultimately, can say that there is not enough food. More health risks are coming up. Environmental changes. Previously, we used to talk about a heat stroke. Now, beyond heat stroke, when there is a pollution, even today, very recent evidence says coronary artery disease and diabetes can always come, and mental health is being affected. Increased hunger and poor nutrition always plays a key role. It is said every year environmental factors takes the lives of around 13 million people. And poverty and displacement, heat can make it difficult to work in outdoor job. Therefore, they are not able to go, and then poverty starts growing. Most refugees come from countries that are most vulnerable and least ready to adapt to the impact of climate change. Impact of climate change on human health specifically. Heat-related stress, acute cardiovascular events are more common. Coronary artery disease, as I said, and a stroke and respiratory issues, and an acute exacerbation of an asthma and acute lung injuries and vector-borne diseases are also exacerbated. Both non-communicable and communicable diseases are increased on human health. And the effects of, again, the climate change, temperature extremes lead to more heat-related deaths and medical visits for cardiovascular, renal, and respiratory. Floods cause a lot of drowning deaths, and wildfires, again, increase the asthma and COPD. Air pollution, many of our state capitals are becoming, highly polluted and unfit to, move around. Allergens and pollens are becoming more common and produce most allergic and infective disasters. And again, food security is an issue. Diseases caused by vectors is an issue because of the lack of food. And this climate, mental stress and stress-related disorders are coming up. Flood and waterborne disorders are coming up. How to prevent this climate change? As doctors, we are, focusing on this project. We should know how to prevent a climate change. Number one, reduce the energy consumption. Use less energy by adopting to energy efficient practices. There are any number of appliances which consume less electricity. and always try to use a cool water and never go for, heat and other things. Improving home energy efficiency has to be there. And then changing the energy sources. We'll have to go for renewable energy rather than coal or gas related energies. Installing solar plants on the rooftops. I used to recommend earlier every hospital should have a solar plant on the rooftop. We also have it. That creates a lot of savings on electrical consumption. And sustainable transports. Try to encourage walking, cycling, and use public transportation. When I was in London, they used to come by their car and they will stop it at the, the train station. They'll do all their work by the, local metro, and then come back, take their car and go. Not for the distance. They want to conserve the energy and reduce the pollution. The carpooling, taking trains or buses for long trains. Now the electrical vehicle have come, EVs, and that reduce the pollutions and then climate change. And air travel is going on increasing. Though we say that we have to do, we do it. But try to say that and see that the air travel is restricted. And we should be a strong advocate for climate action and support renewable energy policies by the government and national and international. And you will have to reduce the food waste. Now we have the food and it is being wasted and put into the landfills. No, that should not be done. And we should do it for, very good waste disposal. A disposal of the waste is a very important one. And how to create a resistance against climate effects. You identify, we call it as a brace. Identify the severity of climate impacts on vulnerable populations. As doctors, we can do that. Determine the effects of climate change. Design interventions for health impacts on greatest concern. And distribute a written plan for implementation to the government and concerned authorities. Evaluate, and after that, you will have to evaluate the effectiveness of the plan that is being implemented also. Climate change, as IMA is the greatest healthcare NGO, I have divided the role of IMA into two. Number one, advocacy. Number two, action. First, advocacy. A policy document, as discussed, has to be prepared by the, with a team of experts to be submitted to the Government of India and National Health Mission also. And members, our members, 4 lakh members, should be enlightened on the health issues of climate change and must be made to involve actively. Public and media awareness and involvement must be created. See, they keep on rushing and for their work and they go, but they should be highlighted on the value of controlling climate change on their health. And we should support the climate change agendas of government, and we should prepare and offer evidence on health and climate change. And research studies IMA can take over and support with the health issues control. And the climate change, what IMA can act, I see the tree implantation, green revolution being initiated through every IMA branch. And this should be enhanced, and every branch must do that. And clean and adequate water supply to the citizen, which is being done through the municipalities and corporations, where we should talk to them. And a clean environment, we should talk not only to the authorities, but to the public also, putting things on the road. All these things must be avoided. Waste disposal. You have, we'll have to secrete biomedical and medical, and then we'll have to do the right way of the waste disposal. Pollution Control Board has given a lot of guidance to us. We should use it and encourage using electric vehicles, or in poor people, short distance cycling can be done. The built environment has to be changed, and avoiding plastic bags and safe food preparation, consumption, avoiding waste. Ladies and gentlemen, a climate change has become evident in the form of a temperature change, either high or low. High is becoming more. Secondly, pollutions are becoming more. Thirdly, the carbon dioxide, methane are increasing, that cause a lot of health damages, either non-communicable or communicable. All these can be controlled by creating awareness and pushing the government and citizen to act accordingly and see that we save our environment and save our health. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable knowledge and experiences with us. Hope with your leadership, we'll be able to march towards a healthy India. So if there are any queries, yes, sir.
Venkatesh, sir, Arulraj sir, given a wonderful presentation about the climate change and the role of IMA. As you said, the first thing we will have to do it, kind of giving a memorandum as a body of health advocacy, and we will be definitely doing it. Also in the program, one of the faculty is going to talk about health, climate change and youth. I think we will also hear that can include how youth is fully involved in this movement. That is what I'm actually expecting as an outcome of this meeting. So that, sir, you need your involvement in preparing a document to be
always there, Abul. Don't worry about it. It's a very key agenda.
Yes,
this
sir.
is an executable agenda. That
Okay.
we definitely do that. My support is always there. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Over
much.
to you, Venkatesh.
Thank you so much, sir. So now I would like to introduce Dr. Harshal Tukaram Pandve, sir, Professor and Head of Department of Community Medicine, PCMC's PGI Hospital, Pune. Sir is working in the field of environment health, global warming, and climate change since 2007. He has published over 20 articles in the area of climate change and is a strong advocate for spreading awareness about climate change. With this brief introduction, I would like to invite Dr. Harshal Pandve, sir, to kindly talk on role of youth in climate change. Over to you, sir.
Good evening all. And I am very thankful to the IMA Tamil Nadu branch, the Junior Doctor Association, for inviting me on this World Environment Day webinar on climate change. Dr. Venkatesh, can I share my screen? I think it is disabled.
I have enabled now, sir.
Is it visible now? Yes.
Your screen is visible, sir. Slides are yet to be visible.
Thank you for choosing such an important topic. The issue is with climate change. Hello.
Sir, sorry, sir. Actually, your Windows browser is open, not the PPT. We are not able to see the PPT.
Is it?
So can you stop sharing and share the full screen again, sir? Can you stop sharing and share full screen again? Okay, sir, not a problem. I'll share from my end. Please allow me to share from my end.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The slides visible, sir? Are the slides visible, sir?
No, Venkatesh. No, not yet, Venkatesh.
Okay, just a second.
Only sir screen is
not visible.
Okay. Sir, you please stop the screen sharing, sir.
How to do it? Just yes. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. So is my screen visible now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, thank you once again. The topic which is given to me is a very important one. As most of the young doctors are participating in today's webinar, the role of youth in combating climate change. Okay. And as Dr. Venkatesh mentioned, I started my work on climate change and global warming in 2007 when I was a PG student. So that time I was young. Still I am young, but that time actually, as per the definition given by United Nations, I was youth. So I think the role of youth is most important. The seniors are there to guide us, to encourage us, but the action has to be taken by the youth, and that is the most important thing. Can you change the slide, please? Yeah. So, sir has clearly mentioned about the climate change, its science behind the climate change, as well as various threats it is causing us. It is a reality now. This year was one of the hottest years we have faced. So many heat waves were there. So many people died due to heat waves. And still the different kind of climate change threats are going on, like cyclones, droughts, everything. So it is clearly visible that climate change is not something unreal. It is absolutely real. It is changing, but we are reluctant to change, and we are reluctant to accept the fact that climate change is there. Next slide. Now, this single slide gives you the clear picture that it is affecting everything. It is melting the glaciers. It is causing the cyclones. It is causing wildfires, floods, severe heat waves, as well as the food scarcity. So it is affecting each and every aspect of our life. Next, please. So the impact range from heat waves to affecting agriculture, further endangering the food security, sea level rise, and accelerated erosions of coastal zones, increasing the intensity of natural disasters, species extinction, and spread of vector-borne diseases. So it is everything. Climate change is causing everything to harm the humans as well as the every living species on the earth. And the urgency of climate change is underscored by the data, very interesting data, which is shared by the Stockholm Institute. It shows that a child born in 2020, 4 years back, is twice as likely to experience wildfires than those who are born before, like in 1960s or 70s. Okay. They are 2.6 times more prone to droughts. They are 2.8 times more exposed to river floods, and staggering 6.8 times more susceptible to heat waves than someone who was born in 1960s or 70s. Okay, so you can see that the problem is going to increase. It will not stay the similar. Maybe the next year is more hotter than this year. Maybe more floods will come in coming days. Now the monsoon has started. Maybe some areas will get very less water, very less rains. So drought, everything. So the incidence of the vector-borne disease will going to increase, and each and every aspect of our life will be affected. Now, why youth engagement is crucial in the fight against climate change? Okay, this is a very, very important question. Okay, we always say children are our future. Then youth is the present. Okay. If these children are going to be youth in the future and they will become present. And the present moment is most important. What we are doing right now, what is expected to be done at this moment is far more important than what will be discussed and what will be done in the future. Because already we are running short of time. We are behind the race against the climate change. The speed of climate change is much more than our thinking and our actions. So we need to focus on the youth. Okay, according to United Nations reports, there are 3.5 billion people under the age of 30 living on this planet. That marks half of our population. So the most importantly, we have a very sizable number, half of our population, who can actually contribute in combating the climate change, who can actually take the action. Next slide. Because these young people, what we have given to our younger generations is the planet which is going through a very harsh scenario right now. Various climate change issues which are coming up. So these young people are not only victims of the climate change, but they can contribute to a far better earth by their action in the prevention of climate change. If we do not act now in the present scenario, our actions against the climate change and our inactions both will cause much more harm to our future generations. So you must focus on your youth to work on the field of climate change. Next slide. Now, what is the definition of youth? Okay, United Nations for statistical purpose defines youth as those persons between the age of 15 years and 24 years without prejudice to other definitions by member states. Okay, this is the range they have given for statistical purpose. But actually, youth is best understood as a period of transition from dependence of childhood to adulthood's independence. That's why, as a category, youth is more fluid than any other fixed age groups. Next. Now, various international organizations and the national organizations have defined their youth differently. United Nations says it is 15 to 24 years. United Nations, UN Habitat Youth Fund says it is 15 to 32 years. UNICEF, WHO says it is 15 to 24 years. African Youth Charter said it is 15 to 35 years. National Youth Policy of India by NSO India says youth is 15 to 29 years. But not going into the numbers, it is most important that how we can contribute, whatever is the age. But focusing on the youth, we should take the larger definition, like 15 to maybe around for 35 years can be the most important group which we can call as a youth and give them the baton of leading against the climate change. That is important because all over every organization, from the local gram panchayats to the national leaders, we can see that their age is more than 60 years or something like that. And we need to give this baton of climate change to the younger population. Let them take the decisions for their future. That is very important. Next slide. As we know, youth represents the most dynamic and the vibrant segment of the population. We always talk about youth, that the India is the young country, the global population, half of the population is young. But how much we are empowering them to take the decisions for their future, for the future of this planet, that is the real question. All the policy making is done by the people who are experienced but aged. And what is the contribution of youth, especially in all this policy making? How much importance is given to their voices? That is very important. Next slide. Youth accounting for 16% of the global population. Climate change and its long-term impact disproportionately affect youth rather than any other age group, I feel. And they will bear the consequences of their present actions and inactions. So that youth has to play a very crucial role in combating climate change. Next slide. They are the agents of change. They are the entrepreneurs and innovators. Whether through various activities like education, science, or technology, young people are scaling up their efforts and using their skills to accelerate the climate action. Next slide. So this is very important. What youth says about climate change. We are talking that youth should contribute, but what is their own opinion about the climate change? A few years back, we had done some studies. Next slide. In 2009, we did a questionnaire-based pilot survey in Pune city of Maharashtra state to assess awareness about climate change among the college-going youth. And it was published in Indian Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine. The results are very interesting. Next slide. 98.5% youth respondents said that global climate is changing. Definitely. 95% of the respondents also commented that human activities contribute to climate change. And about 54% of the respondents believe that youth could play a major role in combating climate change. Now, this study was done in 2009, but now after almost 14-15 years, I think this 54% respondents may be now around 80% or 90%, because today youth is very active. They are well informed about various issues going on around them, and this number must have increased to around 80 to 90%. So they want to play a major role in combating climate change. Next slide. Now, this is another very interesting study which we have conducted in one of the medical colleges in Pune city, where we tried to find out the perception of medical students. How many medical students feel that the climate is changing? So 98% said that yes, climate is changing. 98% also opined that human activities are contributing to climate change. According to 47% of the students, they said that health-related issues are priority for climate change prevention strategies. So the young budding medical students can see the climate change as one of the important health threat in coming years. Again, this study was done some time back. It was published in Indian Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine. But definitely this 47% figure is rose to around maybe 70 or 75%. We need to study, we need to generate evidence, we need to conduct research studies as Alura sir. Next slide, please. Now, when we conducted this study, we also asked which are the most important health-related impact of climate change. And that time, 65% said that direct physical hazards. Now, this year, we can really say that heat waves were very harsh, very number of heat waves were very large compared to previous years. And direct physical impact we can really experience. So the students also think on a very important aspects that first we need to focus on whatever physical hazards the climate change is doing. Second most important, they are also experiencing the frequent natural disaster. The frequency of natural disasters is also increasing. 43% student felt that. Increase in vector-borne diseases and waterborne diseases. Also, students feel that these are going to increase in coming years with the issue of malnutrition. So, I feel that very learned audience is here who are holding a very key positions. So, we need to focus on youth and the younger doctor population who are now studying or who are doing their undergraduate or doing their postgraduate studies, to encourage them to take up the projects which are related to climate change. Even I feel that the MD students who are doing their MD in community medicine, so one of the very important topic for their dissertation should be the effect of climate change and various strategies we can use. So one of the key take-home message I feel that as a youth as well as young doctors, we need to focus more on research activities related to climate change. Next slide. Next, please. Now, there are many youth movements are going on in the climate change. These are called as youth movements for climate justice. Next slide. You must have seen this girl. She is a Swedish teenager, Greta Thunberg, and her initiative, Fridays for Future, which was began in 2018 as a school strike for climate action and has grown into the global movement with thousands of youth-led demonstrations around the world. So the young population is taking the action. They are taking the things in their hand. And this Fridays for Future is, I think, one of the most important movements which is going on around the world. Next slide. Another important movement led by the youth is Sunrise Movement. Youth-led movement is, this is US-based organization focusing on the fighting against climate change and creating green jobs. Okay, the green movement, the Sunrise Movement has been pushing for Green New Deal, a comprehensive plan to address climate change and economic inequality. And the document is available on this their website. You can go through it. It is very interesting and very important document. Next slide. Global Youth Biodiversity Network. This network is also significantly contributed to shaping crucial policies such as Global Biodiversity Framework. And it is all led by the youth of the various nations. It is a multi-nation organization which is working on the field of biodiversity and climate change. Save the Beach Maldives, STBM. This was also started in 2007 as a youth movement in Willy Malé to preserve the natural beaches on the island from coastal development. And we know that Maldives is at the forefront of the brunt of the climate change. As the sea levels are increasing, there are various issues which are very dangerous for the survival of Maldives. So they have also started, their youth has taken this kind of movements. Next slide. This is also Arab Youth Council for Climate Change. Now all Arab youth have united and they have taken the initiative to support the environmental issues, support climate actions, and engage young Arabs in developing innovative and sustainable solutions to the climate change challenge. Next slide. India is not also far behind. Okay, you must have heard about this Indian Youth Climate Network, IYCN. It was founded in 2008 as a coalition of young people and youth-oriented organizations to take action on climate change. It considers its biggest achievement to be the personal transformation of each individual who participates in network's activity, as well as its contribution in bringing the climate debate to the mainstream. So all these are very, I think, representative movements which are going on. There are many movements which are going on around the world on various issues led by the youth. And these are few examples which are very shining examples, and our youth can also be the part of these kind of movements, or they can themselves start some movement against the climate change. Now, what is the way forward? Okay, as we discussed, young people are becoming catalysts for the change in the face of enormous climate change issues, and they are at the forefront of building the sustainable future with cutting-edge technology and circular economic models. Next slide. Now, how can we engage youth in climate action? How their energy can be utilized? These are few ways where we can tap their energy, like engagement through education and awareness. We are very far behind in generating awareness about the climate change, about the scientific education about the climate change. Okay, this is not.
Sir, kindly unmute yourself, sir. It has got muted.
Yeah, sorry. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Then the empowering young people to take lead in climate action by creating and supporting youth-led initiatives. Now, it is our duty as the seniors. We need them to encourage them. We need to give them the space where they can take the lead in creating and supporting youth-led initiatives. Young people can engage themselves in climate action by getting involved in political processes such as voting, running for office, and lobbying for policy. Okay. I don't know this year. I think just now the general elections for Lok Sabha has done and results have also come. But I don't know how many youth actually voted. That is a big question, because around if we take the average, around 50 to 60% voting was there. But of this, how many were young voters? How many were first time voters? That is the important. We should not be lethargic in our action. These are the mandate given by our constitution, like voting and that, and we should utilize to the optimum. How many youth are really interested in doing some movements, taking active participation, because they are busy with their studies, with their education and all these things. But we need to take the charge, because unless you take the charge, we are far behind preventing the climate change. And I feel that youth is the account. We should count on youth for taking all these issues on the forefront of the various policies which are going to be there. Engagement in climate actions through collaborations is also very important. Partnerships with organizations, businesses, and government agencies. Everywhere we can engage the youth and take their help in climate change action. Now, what are the advantages being youth? This is very important. Okay, these years will not come back. In Hindi, we say that Jawani phir se nahi aati. So, utilize this very important era of your life for doing something very important for our future generations. The advantage of being youth is everywhere. Every country, every corner of the world has youth. As we say, half of the population is young population, deeply rooted inside any system, local or global, from labor force to high risk investment market to youth. Youth is there. Everywhere youth is there. So that is a big advantage. Young men and women are every day trying to build their lives and better future for themselves and their kind. So their action is most important than any other age group on this earth. Next important thing being youth is a very important advantage is youth is connected. Okay, today we see that so many people have joined this webinar. I think maybe 70% are youth. So they are connected, they are techno savvy. Easily they can connect with other people from other countries, from other parts of the world. They can share their views. Okay, the world has become a global village. So this data, like International Telecommunication Union, estimates that young people worldwide are nearly 2 times more network than the global population as a whole. So they are connected. Various hashtag movements are going on, and they can utilize this connection for putting climate change action on the front run. So being connected is a very big advantage the youth has. Next slide. And youth is innovative. Okay. Young people tend to be most idealistic and innovative group of all the age group. We all heard stories about young people taking the front run in solving complex problems. Okay, so whatever, Facebook, any platform you take, it was started by the people when they were youth. They were innovative in something. So these three are the most important advantages. Youth is everywhere. Youth is connected, and youth is innovative. So all these advantages must be tapped in for the better climate change action. Now, some may ask, I am young, how can I help? Okay, so very simple things. I will just, sir has already talked about how to prevent climate change. These are the very basic things. Change your lifestyle. Okay, youth is very flexible. Okay, not like the adults or the older people who cannot change their habits so easily, but youth can change their habits. Okay, sir has already mentioned we should encourage walking, we should encourage cycling, we should encourage the public transport, we should at least plant trees, which are very important. We should not use the plastic. So all these simple things, if we change our mindset and if we change our way of living, we are contributing towards the climate change action. That is very important. And this can be done not only by youth, by everyone. Okay, so whatever change we want to see in the community, as Gandhiji said, we must be the change first. We have to change ourselves first. That is the first thing we can do. Next thing is speak up. Okay, share the numbers, spread the science. Okay, the speech about climate change and environmental impact have to reach all corners of the society. When we chit chat with our families, with our friends, with our co-workers, partners, we should take this topic that climate is changing. First of all, we have to speak up about that, and then the change will happen. Third thing they can do, like various movements are going on around the world, in the country as well. Join some movement. There are many groups, local, regional, global, made by engage young people on climate action. You can join that. Rather, you can be the part of that or form your own group. Do something innovative for combating climate change. Do some movements at your local level, at your college level, at your university level, at your society level, whatever it is. But join the movement. That is very important. So these three things one can easily do as a youth. Next slide. So I will end my talk with this quote by Dennis Dunning. Very important one. If we let them, young people will do the world's most powerful solutions. So let the young people, the youth, take the charge and lead this battle against climate change. Next slide. On this eve of World Environment Day, I extend a very happy World Environment Day to everyone. Next slide. And thank you so much. I am very grateful to the Indian Medical Association, Junior Doctor Network and Medical Student Network of Tamil Nadu, especially my friend Dr. who has been a very instrumental for this particular webinar, and Dr. Venkatesh Karthikeyan. So with this, I end my talk. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, sir, for the excellent session. So I request the audience to keep posting your queries in the chat box. We'll take up at the end of the session. So thank you once again, Dr. Harshal, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I'd like to welcome our next speaker, Dr. Harshal Ramesh Salve, sir, Additional Professor, Center for Community Medicine, AIIMS, New Delhi. Sir is extensively working on air pollution and health effects research, and has a rich experience of more than 13 years. With this short introduction, I would like to welcome Dr. Harshal Salve, sir, to talk on air pollution and health. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Venkatesh, for a kind introduction, and thank you for introducing me to this excellent webinar. At the outset, let me thank IMA Tamil Nadu chapter and Junior Doctor Association. I think most of the things has been said by the previous speakers very eloquently, and one Harshal is following other Harshal. So I will not repeat the things which are there, but I will mostly focus on the air pollution. And you see, climate change is a long-term impact we are having. Day to day, what we see, rise in temperature, some rain here and there, uh, cold weather changes, a climate variability in terms of meteorology when we talk about. And climate change is 50 years, 100 years down the line when we talk about climate change. So it is very difficult to convince our policymakers, for that matter citizen also, that climate change is happening. So it is a job of association like IMA, which are working on the ground with the medical practitioners. I will say that they really need to convince medical practitioners to at least acknowledge the impact of climate change which is happening, and also through them we really need to do the community awareness. Just briefly about the air pollution. So 24% diseases are attributed to the environmental exposures globally, and 23% of the mortality. So this is as per National Ambient Air Quality. I will not go into more theory into it. So this is 2009 standards. Now with respect to this, these are the newer standards which are sort of advised by the WHO in 2021. You can see they are very stringent with the existing, if we apply this standard, and currently in India, we are all involved with the government of India in terms of revising the standards of national ambient air quality. So you can see here the standards are pretty stringent. So almost 99% population is under the sort of radar of air pollution. So everyone is exposed to air pollution. If we see the India scenario, every 1 in 8 death in India is due to the air pollution. It is the second most common cause of Delhi. I think it's a morbidity indicator. And as I said, 99% population is exposed. If you look to recent data, where still, though we have in last few decades, we have done a tremendous progress in terms of economic prosperity, but you can see the still the use of clean fuel is not that improved, particularly in the rural area, where most of the time we have the mixed fuel use. Coming to the impact, like the iceberg, so majority of part of the iceberg lies beneath the water table. So you just see the tip of the iceberg. Same thing is there with the air pollution. What you can see in this figure, the death, which is just a tip of the iceberg, which can be counted, whatever we reported in various studies, can be reported in various surveillance data. But at the bottom of the pyramid, the entire story lies, where you can see the decrease in the lung function, inflammation, cardiac impact, school absenteeism. Where I stay in Delhi NCR, we have a school holidays for air pollution related things. So we have air pollution holidays for the school. So these are all impact for the air pollution, doctor visits, then loss of work days. So the cost associated with it and the quantum of impact is pretty large as far as the air pollution is concerned, and it is not visible because we are not measuring everything. So this is just indicative, the satellite images of, you can see the left side, PM 2.5 level across the India. You can see here estimation, this Indo-Gangetic plain. The Tamil Nadu, where most of the people are belong from this in the webinar, they are pretty on the safer side here in the southern part of the country. But we all are in the IGP plain, are exposed to the higher level of air pollution because of the geographical and the climatic scenario here. On the right side, you can see the estimations of the ozone level using satellite image. You can see entire country is exposed to the higher level of ozone. Traditionally, when we talk about non-communicable diseases, which are the highest sort of numbers in terms of the mortality and morbidity, we talk about tobacco use, alcohol use, physical inactivity. But now, household air pollution and ambient air pollution are identified important risk factor. So at the international and national level, air pollution has been identified as an important risk factor. So it is there in the policy framework. It is there nationally as well as internationally. I will not go much detail into the various studies which we have carried out and which is published in national, international, and also there are many evidence available. Why I show this evidence in most of the platform I visit, because there's a lot of questions all the time come to us that where is the evidence from India? Where are the people dying? In Delhi, you see the air quality touching 500, but nobody is falling on the ground, on the roads, right? but it's a hidden impact what you see. Most of the time, the impact of air pollution is a long term, and there are n number of studies. The outcomes also varies from respiratory outcomes, cardiovascular outcomes, blood pressure, diabetes, the pregnancy related outcomes, the hospital visit, respiratory diseases, maternal and child health outcomes, and n number of studies are there, and we have compiled all these studies and put it on our website called KFR India. I will just come to that. So the evidence is available. So any of the participant who are attending this webinar and want to have a look at the evidence of air pollution and various health outcome in India, they can go and get this publication from KFR India website. Now, with the increased advancement in the science, we are trying to sort of give more evidence with respect to the newer outcomes. You can see here this particular study which we have carried out that link air pollution and PM 2.5 exposure and the depression. Again, this is from the meta-analysis where what we have done 4 years back, where we try to give the evidence with linking the mental health and air pollution exposure. So newer outcomes are being studied. What are the things we require? So I think we need action at all these three levels. We all are doctors working and with some sort of activism in our day-to-day life. So these are the three levels where we can contribute. So domains, and these are 4 domains, 3 levels, and these 5 domains. So first domain is a collaboration, collaborating with the other sort of stream, the public health, medicine, exposure scientists, generating local evidence wherever we are. There is always a scope of generating local scientific evidence. What is working, what is not working, what are the interventions which are working, what are the interventions which are not that much useful, what are the source of air pollution, what are the mitigation measures. Working with the national program, we have a national programs called NPCCHH, National Program for Climate Change and Human Health, which is from the health side, and national program for National Clean Air Program, NCAP, which is there from the environment side. We really, as a scientist, as a medical practitioner, we really need to work with them. Advocacy and communication, both on the upward direction to the policymakers and to a downward direction with the community. So these are important. And last but not the least, we as an association should engage with the community, to bring a real change at that level. Briefly about research, I will not go much into detail. We have a joint collaboration with IIT Delhi here, which we bank on each other's strengths and generate a lot of scientific research. In our field practice area in AIIMS Delhi, we have carried out this project where we documented in the rural setting, the sort of linkages with the air pollution and the health and mortality. This is a hospital based. Many of you be having a hospital, working in a hospital. So the hospital data, OPD data can be used for linking the PM 2.5 exposure and the hospital admissions in the OPD, same which is showed by us. These are the sources of exposure data. If some of you are interested to do some research, these are the sources, satellite-based source, your pollution, CPCB, pollution control related board sources there. You can get that data there. So this is a satellite-based data. We have 1 by 1 kilometer data across the country with respect to PM 2.5. And these are the government portal where you can extract data, the Suffer India and the CPCB. With respect to various outcome data, we have many surveys that you can go and get the information. Mortality data are from the civil registration system, sample registration system, large population surveys. Then we have this Minerva network. If you are interested to do some cost specific analysis related data, then it is available at AIIMS Delhi here with us, where we do the analysis of SRS based data. This is the website, the K for India, which is a joint venture between IIT and AIIMS Delhi, where you can see most of the material which is published from India with respect to air pollution and health, the scientific studies. This is the report I was talking about, where we tried to compile the evidence which are available from India, which we gave to the government of India for revising the standards. So these are the few challenges. I will not go into detail because do any research in environment health is pretty challenging. The impact is not straight, as I said. The curve is pretty hyperbolic, where you could not see the straight impact. If you really want to reduce the health outcome from air pollution, you have to reduce air pollution exposure drastically, right? So there are other issues also. Vulnerability also varies. The people who are elderly, pregnant women, children are more vulnerable. People living in poor socioeconomic condition are more vulnerable to the air pollution. With the existing comorbidities, are more vulnerable to the air pollution related mortality. And there is a lack of very accountability research. What works? What doesn't work? Does air purifier works in the household setting? Does mask wearing N95 works in household setting? There's a lot of scope of doing the research, and I request IMA members to invest in this research, to sort of do advocacy for more funding to the local researchers, so that local evidence can be generated. So these are the challenges also which are there, which are we have a very knee-jerk reaction as well as policymakers are concerned. So I think this is, you see the lot of hue and cry in media in the winter season, particularly in Delhi. But air pollution is not a winter problem. Currently also here in Delhi NCR, its air quality is not that good. Also in the other parts of the country, as we are increasing the air pollution monitoring, we are seeing the other part, western part, the central part of the country also seeing the lot of air quality related issues. So it is not a localized problem, it is a nationwide problem, and it is a year-long problem. It is not a seasonal issue. It is not geographically restrictive issue. So the society, the association like IMA need to put a constant vigilance over the government actions and the various actions at the community level, government level, and the program level, so that the sustained efforts can be made. So some of the things which we did with the program, the capacity building of health officials, which we have carried out with respect to air pollution and health. We have this health adaptation plan for climate change, where the air pollution and district level, the health people, the program officer preparing action plan for taking actions. These are the actions which are required at the health district level. These are the guiding principles, as I already told. So these are the interventions, and mostly air pollution, non-communicable disease, which are the major contributor of death and mortality. The use of clean fuel at industry and transport, individual urban planning, including green spaces, planning of roads, how we are doing along the road. Now we are government also trying to do some sort of green plantation along the highways and the small tributaries, and other individual level interventions like controlling hypertension, glycemic control, reducing obesity, reducing tobacco and alcohol use. That will stay, that interventions will stay. The way forward, continuous knowledge and skill enhancement. This is again, the IMA can pitch in here in terms of skill enhancement of their researchers, the young doctors, involvement of medical college and institution. Again, the IMA has an important role in involving medical college and institution. This is one of the initiative, I will say, this webinar to engage a lot of people. Understanding the local priorities and the community needs, strategic communication to policymakers. So what they should do, a very specific communication to the policymaker needs to be created and conveyed at district, state, and national level. Strengthening national program and collaboration and partnership are the sort of way forward. Coming briefly to the policy, as I said that we are working with the Government of India in terms of revising the national embodied air quality standard. The multi-stakeholder engagement, again, as the air pollution or for that matter climate change is a multitude of the problem. Lot of things contribute to environmental exposure. So a solution also lies with the multi-stakeholder engagement. So we really need to be ready to engage at all levels with the other sectors, the policy dialogues. At community level, what should issue? Waste segregation. Again, the basic thing, what we lack, particularly in the urban area, segregation of waste at the source. Again, so burning of waste is contribute almost to the 5 to 6% of the air pollution. Urban planning, use of clean fuel use. As I told you, the clean fuel use is pretty sort of minuscule level still in the rural area. So through the societies, through the association, we really need to promote the clean fuel use, as well as creating as much as greenery and urban during urban planning in the cities is concerned, that should be ensured. At individual level, monitoring air quality is monitoring air quality is crucial. Using public transport at least once a week, car-free day, at least once a week. Petrochemical free days should be there. As shown by the previous speaker, we should have the environment which is there, which is eco-friendly. We should help us to use cycle, which should help us to use bicycles. I think the association like IMA can contribute in generating the local environment such that people are enabled to use these interventions. Again, at individual level, stopping substance use, having balanced diet doesn't make sort of less effort. And antioxidant in the diet reduce, and there are the studies available which show that antioxidant in the diet are beneficial for reduction of the air pollution. These are the specific actions which I can think of for IMA at the policy level. Integration of the health and environment measures. Currently the health stream and the environment stream, they are working very separately. So IMA should advocate in terms of integrated effort at the policy level. And health harmful subsidies. There are subsidies which are leading to the more emissions that should be ended. Efficient transport options, end-to-end connectivity. Creation of the metro will not solve the issue, but that connectivity of metro terminal to the various cities, various sites with the public transport, that's the solution ahead. Creation of the walking, cycling pathway, invest in health and evidence generation. Again, important area where IMA can invest for more funding and more sort of investment at the state level, at the district level for generating more local evidence. Then select energy options, considering the health option, health impacts and financial implications. Solar energy, eco-friendly usage of energy needs to be promoted in various actions, various levels by the IMA. So these are the challenges I think we have discussed. We really need to stick to this healthy lifestyle, and we should promote it at all platforms all the time. Briefly about Care for India, it is a joint initiative between IIT Delhi and AIIMS, where we try to build a partnership, do the capacity building of young early career researchers, and do the advocacy with respect to air pollution. These are our steering committee members. These are our major domains of the action. And this is the air health bulletin which we take out yearly, where we try to cover the news and the articles published in the air with respect to air pollution and health research in India. So you are welcome to submit your submission to Care for India Bulletin. You can also join the network. I invite all of you who are joining this webinar to join the network, participate in the capacity building exercise, advocacy, and evidence generation in India. So passion, perseverance, and partnership are essential for advancing science. And as a scientist, as a medical professional, we should all strive for advancing science so that science-based decision making will be done in the country for addressing this issue. So at the end, I again thank organizers for having me on this excellent webinar. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, sir, for a crisp and enlightening session, especially with specific action points for IMA you have given. Thank you so much, sir. We will get back to the queries by audience at the end of the session after our last topic. So for the last talk of the day, I would like to welcome Dr. U. Venkatesh, sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Community and Family Medicine, AIIMS Gorakhpur. Sir is working in several funded projects with ICMR and multiple international agencies, and he's a passionate public health expert. And at this moment, we will also like to thank him for readily traveling down to Chennai from Gorakhpur for our recent Young Doctors Health Parliament, which was held at Chennai. So with this short introduction and a thanks note, I would like to invite Dr. Venkatesh sir to talk on climate change and vector-borne diseases. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Venkatesh Karthikeyan, and very delighted to be here. So the given topic is the climate change, and I have to associate with the vector-borne disease. I am placed in an institution that is located at Gorakhpur, and Gorakhpur is known for important public health problem related to vector-borne disease that is known as Japanese encephalitis, or we call as acute encephalitis syndrome. So every year, the highest number of acute encephalitis syndrome is reported from Gorakhpur. Since last 5 years, there has been a significant reduction in the reporting of the acute encephalitis syndrome. But the new problem have arisen now. Now the cases of dengue has risen, and this is a upcoming problem for the Gorakhpur because of the urbanization and the land use changes, and also the problem of the climate change and the global warming. So the climate change is already affecting the vector-borne disease transmission and spread, and its impact are likely to worsen. In fact, of ongoing climate change, we must intensify the efforts to prevent and control vector-borne diseases. The effect of climate change are widespread and rapidly intensifying, and are largely driven by the greenhouse gas emission from burning fossil fuels. So as Harshal sir also showed some of the graphs where the UP was falling in the red zone. So considering all those facts, the AIIMS Gorakhpur, it's a relatively new institute and launched in 2019. And we also started to work on the environment health, and especially on the climate change. And recently we inaugurated our new center, which is known as the CFRE, which is the Center for Policy Research and Data Analytics in Health and Environment. So I will start my presentation by introducing this slide. This is mean surface area temperature, the mean surface air temperature from 2011 to 2021 as compared with the baseline mean temperature from 1956 to 1976. As you can see, the most of these areas are a dark yellow, then followed by the yellow, then the orange and the red. So the global mean temperature have already increased by 1.1 degrees centigrade since 1900 century, with most of the change have occurred in the past 50 years. So the climate change is a reality, it is not a myth. So given the current policies and action across the globe, a warming of 2.5 degrees centigrade to 2.9 degrees centigrade or more by the end of this century is expected. Now, coming to the vector, there are endotherms and ectotherms animals. We call ectotherms as a cold-blooded animals, and endotherms as a warm-blooded, and ectotherms depends mainly on the external heat sources, and the temperature, body temperature changes with the temperature of the environment. So put simply, the vectors which are ectotherms, that is cold-blooded animals, do better in the warmer world. So with this, I like to show this pathway. This is the pathway between the warming of the global atmosphere and the vector-borne disease. So the warming of the global atmosphere mainly contributed by the rising levels of CO2 and other greenhouse gases, like the previous speaker said. The climate experienced at any location and time represent a combination of natural climate variability and increasing the climate change. As a greenhouse gases accumulate and lead to the increased global temperatures, the extreme weather events are becoming more frequent and more severe, or both. So what can be the changes? The warming of the ocean, which may lead to the melting ice and the rising the sea levels. The specific impacts on the vector-borne diseases can be the increase, because of the increased temperature and the heat waves, the vector survival is enhanced. Also, there is the changes in the vector reproduction and also the transmission. So since the warming has happened, the temperature is increasing, means the more number of days for the transmission. So transmission of diseases like malaria and dengue. On the other side, we are prone for the floods also, which can also create the new breeding sites for vectors and increasing the risk of disease outbreaks. Then on the other side, the droughts, which force the vectors to find water sources closer to the human habitants and increasing the human vector contact. Then the hard frost allows vectors to survive through winter and leading to higher population in the subsequent season. So what I did is, I just compiled the recent evidences which are available and put it in the tabular form. And I have included the important the climate factor variables, that is temperature, precipitation, humidity, extreme weather events, and urbanization, and how this climate change affects the vector and vector-borne disease incidence. So starting with the temperature, the increased temperature enhance the vector survival and the reproduction, like I already said. They also shorten the extrinsic incubation period of pathogens within vectors, allowing disease to spread more rapidly over a broader geographical area. Secondly, the impact on the disease. That is, warmer temperature increases the transmission of diseases like malaria, dengue, and chikungunya, as vectors such as Anopheles and Aedes mosquito thrive in the warmer climates. Now, coming to the precipitation, there is a significant changes in the precipitation since the recent decades. The changes in the precipitation patterns actually affects the availability of the breeding sites for the vector. Increased rainfall can lead to the more standing water, which is ideal for the mosquito breeding. And conversely, the drought condition can force the vectors to seek new water sources closer to the human habitats. This creates condition that leads to outbreak of diseases like dengue and malaria. More breeding sites results in the higher vector population and increased disease transmission. Now coming to the humidity, higher humidity levels enhance the vector survival and activity and facilitating the higher transmission rates of vector-borne diseases. Then this enhanced survival and reproduction rates of vectors increases the risk of the diseases like dengue, which is prone for the epidemic. As these vectors can live longer, more likely to come in contact with the humans also. Then the extreme weathers, extreme events such as floods and droughts disrupt the ecosystem and create the new breeding sites. Then coming to the urbanization, urbanization can create the suitable habitats for the vectors by providing breeding sites such as open drains, water storage containers, and other areas with the poor sanitation. So this is the table which I got from NJEM, and they actually tabulated the observed and the predicted effects of the climate change on the representative arthropods borne diseases like malaria, dengue, Lyme disease, West Nile infection, river blindness, and the plague. So there are many evidences which are available, which actually telling the increase in the vector-borne diseases is associated with the increase in the temperature rise. Even the emergence of this Zika virus infection in Brazil is also in 2015 occurred during a period of severe drought, and usually the higher temperature increases these chances. Now, although we are having evidences, but we need to accept there is the lack of high quality evidences. Because the most of the studies are not the global study, and they are usually a retrospective study or the record-based studies. And there are many non-climatic drivers also involved in the transmission and the spread of the vector-borne disease, which make the measurement of the health effects because of the climate change makes difficult, particularly in the vector-borne diseases. There are various non-climatic drivers like globalization and environment, socio-demographic factors, the public health systems, how well our the surveillance system is. We have a good program and surveillance system in place. How this able to identify the early the epidemic occurrence, the quality of the health system, and the researches on the vector control. These are the factors which can actually affect. So we need to also keep in mind that like so many speakers spoke about doing researches. So whenever we do research, we can also include some of the variables related to the climate change. For example, which I already spoken, the variables like temperature, the rainfall, humidity, extreme weather events, the use of land use. Those kind of variables can be taken, and we can see how this factors actually contributing to the occurrence of the disease. I know it is very challenging, but we need to do more and more research so that this association can be seen at the various level. So these are the community-based strategies and individual level strategies which we should focus on. The strong public policies is required, like the housing and land use regulation is also needs to be regulated. Similarly, we need to intensify the efforts which we are doing under the National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program. We need to use the technologies, GPS-enabled technologies, real-time monitoring of the outbreaks, early identifications of the diseases using the technology can be strengthened. Similarly, the public awareness and engagement campaigns is also needs to be done. So the two things where we need to focus is we have to strengthen the surveillance systems that incorporates satellite data and smartphone-based disease reporting and integration of artificial intelligence algorithms. We are doing under the IDSP, but this is we need to strengthen this technology. We need to have accurate and timely climate-informed early warning systems that monitor the climate, environment, and socio-economic drivers of vector-borne disease, thus that used to predict the outbreaks. We need to also work up upon the healthcare system. The healthcare system should be the climate resilient. So that we need to do. We need to train the climate-educated health professionals. That is the area we can focus. The things are happening, but we need to intensify those efforts, and we need to generate more evidences so that it can be useful for the policymakers to make some policy making decisions. So the summary is the warming temperatures and changes in the precipitation associated with the climate change are affecting the occurrence of the vector-borne disease. So the effective and equitable strategies are needed for the vector control and the disease management. Thank you, Dr. Venkatesh and other dignitaries for giving this opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge on this important topic in a very short span of time. Thank you so much, sir. So audience may type their questions in the chat box. And in the meantime, we have our Finance Secretary, Dr. Gauri Shankar, sir, with us. I request Dr. Gauri Shankar, sir, to please share a few words with us. Okay, if Dr. Abulasan, sir, would you like to give your closing remarks, sir?
Yeah. No, some people may be having, you can take a few questions also. Anyway.
After yours, vote of thanks is there.
Yeah. I should thank profusely all the faculties who have definitely done well and focused to the point. I think the message I had taken from this topic is there is lots of scope for young doctors to do in this sphere of climate change. There are already some networks where youth are very much involved in that. I think if young doctors are in commencing activities in climate change, definitely this particular subject will gain more momentum. I think Venkatesh and other people should work on forming our own movement on this. And we may even inaugurate it in the few days or few months time. One activity with a Pakka roadmap for our activities. So must be like a young doctors for climate change, something like that. So that there must be two areas of activity. One is educating the people, educating the public, particularly students, in the schools and colleges, where our people going and educating them will definitely have a merit. So one area that we can do, and we can also conduct a kind of online competitions like posters, memes, something like that. Another activity, we should have bigger activities like a seminar on deforestation and seminar on reducing the green gas emissions. Like what are the measures like, reducing usage of utility of gasoline and using more from bicycle for traveling. All these things we can do some kind of activity. We will plan in such a way that it can be commenced as early as possible. Venkatesh, it has been a wonderful message giving webinar today. I should thank you and Hari. And definitely we will take it to the national level. We will have a one-day kind of event where this movement, once it is conceptualized fully, can be inaugurated on the webinar, and then we will go ahead. Thank you. Over to you.
Sir, Gauri Shankar sir is there, I think.
Yeah, I joined. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, President sir.
I
doesn't know that I have to go out in emergency manner. Sorry, sir. Sorry for not making up. So Venkatesh Karthikeyan, Hariharan sir, sorry for not joining early. So it's a very nice meeting. The main thing is you are touching up all the important topics that we need, the younger generation need. So last time it's drug abuse and this time it's climate change. So these are very much useful topics. I think the attendance is very much good today. I think it has touched 125. So very happy to see that. So keep on doing the good work. I don't want to take much time. So as told by our president, he is guiding you all very well. So please follow him. And Hariharan sir is also another guiding force and motivating force. Venkatesh, you are doing a wonderful work. Please continue the good work you are doing. Then Joel and Somnath are doing good work. So good attendance today. So keep up the good work. Thank you everyone for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gauri Shankar sir, for
Yes,
sharing
yes,
your valuable
yes,
time
yes,
with us.
yes.
Thank you, Abhulasan sir. We have noted down your points, and with your guidance, we will work in the direction you have shown us. Sir, just two questions for the speakers. Dr. Ruchi has asked, can you please explain how exactly climate change is causing heat waves, and what exactly led to a heat wave this session? Would anyone like to take up this question? Dr. Harshal sir is.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Dr. Pandey is there?
So no, sir. Left,
Okay.
actually.
So
Yes.
the climate change mostly acts in what we can see in two ways. One, increasing the surface temperature. When there is an increase in the surface temperature, it has a direct impact, right? It has an extreme weather event, changing in the weather patterns. And second thing is it has an indirect impact in terms and heat waves, that can come in. So due to the heat wave, you can see a lot of issues with respect to cardiovascular diseases, lot of evidence available. The indirect impact is on agriculture. Because of climate change, because of increased temperature, the food production also, there's a lot of evidence available which leads to the decrease in the agriculture produce, and then leads to the malnutrition and other extreme weather related after effects on agriculture. That is an indirect impact of the climate change.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So in the interest of the time, we would request the audience, if you have any queries, kindly write us to imajdntamilnadu@gmail.com. And as the last part of today's session, I would like to welcome Dr. Najavardhan, General Secretary of IMA JDN Tamil Nadu, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, Najavardhan.
Okay, sir.
Yes,
good
yes,
evening,
yes.
everyone. Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Najavardhan, General Secretary of IMA JDN Tamil Nadu. As we draw to the close of this enlightened webinar on climate change and health, organized by IMA JDN Tamil Nadu and IMA Tamil Nadu, we have the honor and privilege to extend our deepest gratitude to all who made this event a remarkable success. First and foremost, I would like to express our heartfelt thanks to our leaders of IMA Tamil Nadu for their approval for conducting this webinar, Dr. Abul Hassan sir, Dr. Karthik Prabhu sir, and Dr. Gauri Shankar sir. From IMA JDN, Dr. Hariharan sir and Dr. Thiruvenkata Lakshmanan sir. From IMA MSN, Dr. Annamali sir and Dr. Jamuna Rani ma'am. And especially to our esteemed speakers for spending their valuable time and for sharing their valuable knowledge. Dr. Arul Raj Sundaram sir, Dr. Harshal Tukram Pandey sir, Dr. Harshal Salve, and Dr. Venkatesh sir. Thank you for steering this discussion with such eloquence and depth. Your contributions have ensured that the dialogue remained both engaging and also educational. Also, I immensely gratitude Dr. Venkatesh Karthikeyan sir for organizing this webinar, especially for choosing the topic of climate change and health, and also for being the moderator. Last but not least, a big thank you to all attendees for your active participation. Your active participation have made this webinar a resounding success. Thank you once again and have a great night ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Najavardhan. Thank you so much, everyone. We are closing now.
Thank you, Venkatesh. Thank you, Abul sir.